Good afternoon, family. This is Damian Wilson coming to you with another Signs of the Times message. And today I want to talk about the article from someonesbones.com on Fema. And the title of this article is called FEMA Moves In on California Wildfire Victims, because basically California is a Agenda 21 depopulation situation right now that's ongoing. Multiple reports and multiple articles suggest DEW lasers have been used to create these wildfires, and thermite have been introduced into the fire retardant to keep these fires ablaze and keep these fires moving along course as such. But let me start this article. So, title: FEMA moves in on CA wildfire victims. Late Tuesday night, a squad of FEMA senior internment specialists from Washington secretly departed an Andrews Air Force Base bound for the wildfire-raced countryside of Northern California, where the largest fire in the state's history has already claimed a dozen lives, displaced thousands, and singed over 100,000 acres of land. Our source, a high-ranking FEMA agent speaking under condition of anonymity, said the 8th Man Death Squad left D.C. with orders to train regional supervisors on proper interrogation and internment tactics. Because just like what happened at Hurricane Harvey in Houston, they lure them in with food, supplies, shelter. That's also talked about in this article as well. Food, supplies, and shelter, and then once they got them in, they locked the doors and all that. What they get to next. But this is right here some of the FEMA executive orders. It says, all allow the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. That was Executive Order 11004. This is Executive Order 10990. Allows government to take over all modes of transportation and control of highways and seaports. So if you live in a major city or any type of these urban centers, it'll be very, very hard to escape. Most likely the way you're gonna have to, if you can escape, you have to take a back road or roads that are usually unused, dirt roads. Been perpetrating and pushing deception on local media, CNN, NBC, ABC, and all that BS. Basically, give you propaganda and telling you that it's okay to enter these internment camps and FEMA camps, which multiple people say that's in the know. If you enter one of these concentration camps, you will not be returning home. Will be silenced and will be killed. Sorry about that. That's what I was saying before I was really interrupted. Perpetrating deception on the local media, telling you it's alright. Like I said, if you go into any of these FEMA state-owned base facilities such as Walmart, Sam's Club, JCPenney, Kmart, it's gonna be over for you, point blank period. Continuing on, this is Executive Order 0997. Allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Basically, the place that give you your hot water and stuff that gets taken over by the state government under declared under martial law, and you have no say so. Um, but continuing on, this is Executive Order 10998 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. You know, I work at a plantation that distributes medical food supplies to the population. And they have a storage room where food is, kept behind closed and closed doors, locked doors with blacked out mirrors, blacked out windows. Basically, because if those mirrors were see through, the homeless and the people that's in need will break in and take it. But basically, when SHTF goes down and martial law is declared, the government will be coming after these places first with the most food resources and the most home health aid, stuff like that. Because it's in their executive orders to lock that place down, ration out the food, basically starving certain people out. But yeah, continuing on, DC. Oh, I think I read that. The FEMA team he added arrived on Wednesday near Redding, California, and began teaching local federal emergency management agency employees how to trick, wheedle, and cajole individuals in California into believing the government aims to help in times of crisis. The reality, however, is quite the opposite. They basically telling you right here that if they get into how you go with these people, tricking you, controlling you, basically economic manipulation. So if you go there, it's 100% guaranteed that they will kill you. Continuing on, the agents have been given autonomous power and a license, if needed, to kill. Our source said they project themselves as benevolent overlords, showing up with food, resources, shelter, and other amenities, which the impoverished graciously accept. In times of crisis, people that's homeless, people that don't have no food or water, they looking for help. But to think that the government is here to help you, you're sadly mistaken. Just like what such as happened with the FEMA gardens down Hurricane Harvey, in the internment camps of Hurricane Harvey. Basically, there was a video from 777 talking about actually showing a clip where the people was the news broadcasters were talking about how they was getting onto a loaded bus, and one of the Walmarts was overcrowded and they didn't know that it was taking them next. I mean, basically telling you that they don't know where they going, what they gonna do with those people. And then the video that I had made not too long ago talked about ex-cop. He escaped from a female internment camp where it was the Red Cross and the West Homeless Shelter was actually slaying and killing people. So, I mean, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up right now. There's a lot of things going on in the world. So many things, I'm trying to keep up, barely just keeping up. I'm doing my best, And I meant to note that August 12th is going to be a KKK rally in Washington, D.C. Also, a rally in Charlottesville, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. And all across, multiple reports say all across America. And with the D.C. rally, so they're going to attack the White House. Basically, that could implement martial law and start a culling, killing all people, herds, killing all herds of people. So yeah, continuing on. Once FEMA hooks them in, it has them wanting more. They reel them in. people are told, if you want more, you need to come with us, and then herded into FEMA cattle cars and taken to nearest FEMA camps. Cattle cars is basically where we get on these so-called subway cars with shackles and chains, bind your legs up, bind your arms up, you can't run and can't escape. Continuing on. Those who refuse are intimidated and often find themselves staring down the barrel of the AR-15. Man, that's what they perpetrating. So it don't matter what you do. In the end, you're gonna be killed. So you might as well. I'm not gonna say you might as well just die, but it's better than going in there and get gas chambered and guillotine. It's just it's better if you just quick and painless. Yeah, but continuing on, this whatever this app is, it won't let me go longer than 11 minutes. Bringing out too much truth. But yeah, continuing on. Agents, he said, were giving explicit instructions to lure unsuspecting victims into FEMA's open arms. Currently, there are 23 aid stations and rescue centers near the perimeter of the Carl wildfires. FEMA agents will systematically commandeer those locations and tell rescue workers that harboring victims, not people, victims. So if you go into any of these places, you just say it's over for you, basically, point blank, period. And you might have some family members, that get caught up and get put into these internment camps. It's sad to say that, but you might not never see those people again. You might not never hear from them again. You might not never know what came of them after they called you and say they going to be safe and this, that, and the third. It's the truth though. But continuing on, many of whom could be felons or illegal immigrants, is a clear violation of the Patriot Act. That culpable persons would be subject to detainment and arrest without the benefit of jurisprudence. Basically, that's in the executive orders, dash the Constitution, most likely dash the Patriot Act as well. Obama, bitch made person, slave to the system. Even came out on a news article saying that he was the Antichrist, and if you kept up with multiple events, he had that silver outfit on, that silver costume with devil horns, showing who he really is and what he is about, But continuing on, I hurry up because they're going to try to cut this. But most people at the rescue stations don't really know the law, so they just leave fearing they'll be in prison. Our source said. Plainclothes FEMA agents or even those dressed as Red Cross volunteers then commandeer the locations and offer wayward souls to warm bowl of rancid soup and some blankets to sleep on. Once the building is filled to capacity, FEMA locks the doors and armed guards prevent anyone from leaving, ostensibly for their own safety, which is not, so nobody escapes, is the population agenda 21, Rex 84, Georgia Guidestone's guy, keep humanity and perpetual balance with nature, keep humanity under 500 million. That's basically what they're doing now with all these cops shooting people down, killing them and all of that. But continuing on, after a night's sleep of being lulled into a false sense of security, their cell phones and digital media are confiscated as they are herded like cattle aboard sweltering buses and taken to FEMA camps. You know, that's also talked about in Truth Unveiled 777 video, talking about detainees on the bus and also on a helicopter where armed guards is watching over them, make sure they don't escape or don't leave, you know, and basically confiscating your cell phones and your media, you know, so you can't get contact with the outside world. And once you enter this place of death, you won't be escaping, you won't be able to contact nobody to tell them what's going on or nothing like that. Like the guy in that video I had put out not too long ago, talking about the Red Cross and the Wentz homeless shelter was killing people. The media was cutting them off, kept trying to divert the subject, and then towards the end of the video, they talked about, well, we're gonna call some help for you. You know, basically putting that man's life back in danger after he escaped the danger. But those news anchors and those news media outlets don't even know they stay on the list as well. They gonna be going to. But continuing on, the FEMA security squad have been granted broad discretionary powers and immunity from prosecution in time of natural or man-made disasters. Natural disasters, you know, such as Yellowstone going off, or a tsunami tidal wave engulfing the west coast or the east coast, or even both. Man-made disasters such as nuclear war, you know, biological, chemical warfare breaking out, people turning you know, not literal zombies, but cannibals and stuff like that. Continuing on, FEMA is the ultimate authority. FEMA can arrest anyone, anytime, for any reason or no reason. Even local law enforcement bends to FEMA's will. If some chivalrous cop tries to side with the public, he risks being interned, which means put in a FEMA camp, or kill himself. That's how much power FEMA has, and agents are under tremendous pressure to meet goals, also said. Yeah, but continuing on, FEMA internment specialists are obligated to meet quotas, much the way a state trooper is expected to issue a given number of speeding citations each month in FEMA. However, an agent's worth is based on how many people per crisis he can willingly or forcibly convince to visit the nearest FEMA death camp. Continuing on, like what we did during Hurricane Harvey and in Hawaii, this will just be another beta test in advance of an eventual declaration of martial law, our source said. Yeah, because things that's finna happen soon, it's not gonna be pretty. In the United States, there will be a rally, reports say across the nation, but as far as I know myself, Charlottesville, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, and Washington D.C. And they, you know, propaganda television media even says, you know, if you coming to visit August 12th, which is Sunday, don't go down there. You know, there's gonna be bloodshed in Washington D.C. They're gonna be basically rallying in front of the White House, and this just may be the scenario that causes martial law to be implemented in all 50 states, and foreign troops come in and, you know, take over and stuff like that. But it's time to wake up, people. This is not a joke. This is not a game. You know, a lot of lives are already being lost. A lot of people's minds is lost. Watching artificial spectrum lights, watching the propaganda media telling them lies, you know. But it's time to wake up now, people. Love your family. Be safe out here. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't trust nobody if they don't know the truth because when times get hard and things come down to the wire, and the food is being seized by these martial law FEMA troops. You can't get no food. That's when basically a famine gonna start. And unless you got the RFID microchip, if you take that, it's over for you. Point blank. Period. There's no repentance, no grace by the Most High. You will be salvaged and saved for the nuclear hellfire that's to come upon this place very soon. Um, but when things go down, um, people that's not fasting and not even trying to stop eating at least 3 times a day, which is basically gluttony. Um, when things get hard and it's starving, near death, supposedly their brain telling them they need to eat. Um, the FEMA troops and the Gurkha troops gonna come to them with an ultimatum saying, "Have these list of names. See these list of names. If you could tell me where they are, who these people are, where they live, we'll give you some rations, some food." And in the end, they don't even know they're gonna be killed themselves too. But it's just something that's just a scenario that popped in my head. I mean, it sounds crazy, but what's not crazy at this time, point in time in this point in time in history? But to be aware is to be alive. Love your family. Be safe out here. Stay aware. And like in the movie The Matrix, you say everybody that's not in tune, is an agent. So gotta stay aware, people. Love your family. Be safe. Sign of the time. Sign